Here with Brad McNinch, assistant trainer for the Linda Toscano stable at the 2023 Pepsi North America Cup draw. And Brad is here to talk about two horses as they sent out two winners on Saturday night. They sent out Fulton and they sent out It's My Show. Brad, just a couple of words, if you could, about the Colts' performance on Saturday night.
The Colts raced very well. They were ready for it, and It's My Show I thought was as impressive as any of them. Racing from the rail at Mohawk, usually it's not as advantageous a spot, especially because of the slanted gate. It usually kind of stops their momentum a little bit, but he got out of there very well, and he just kept going. And he's been a pleasant surprise this year. And Fulton, he got picked off last week, and Dex was a little concerned about his bridle, so Linda changed his bridle, and he was much better. And they both did what they had to do because it was a tough race, and you had to be first or second, and you couldn't leave any room for error.
Maybe talk a bit about It's My Show and his turnaround from 2 to 3. Is there anything you can point to that sort of clicked with that horse that made him go from an 0-for-8 freshman to an undefeated sophomore at this point?
Gelding him made all the difference in the world. After his last race in Lexington last year, Linda says, take him out to Hunterdon Farm and get him gelded right away, and that's what we did. And they did a great job recouping him, recovering from his gelding, and he came back this year, and we trained him down, and he didn't seem any different or any better until he got into race, and he kind of realized that this is what he was meant to do. And it seems he's not a different horse to be around. He was always a nice horse to be around, but the gelding just seemed to help his attitude.
Clearly, for the ownership group, I would assume that's a tough decision too, because of the pedigree that the horse has. But obviously, the racehorse aspect of this business led the connections to make that call, and it seems to be.
Yeah, Richard was pretty much on board with it. I mean, he'd rather have a good racehorse than a good gelding than a bad stallion, and he owned the mother, and she was she as good a mare as there ever was, and he said, if you think gelding will help him, let's do it. And it certainly did for him. In his case, it certainly did.
You talked about the equipment change for Fulton going from the Sun Beach Somewhere to the North American Cup of Limbs. Are there any other equipment changes for the Colts going into this week?
No, they're all going in status quo.
And it's a super competitive field, probably one of the most competitive fields in recent memory, possibly in the 2000s. Who do you think is the biggest competition for those two horses?
Oh, I look at that field and I don't see a horse that can't win. Usually when you have two eliminations and the top 5 make it, you usually got 2 or 3 in there that you can throw out completely. There's not a horse in there that I don't think can win. And it's going to be a competitive race because all the winners think they can win, and all the horses finish second were all race super, and they think they can win. And the two that drew in, well, Redwood beat us the week before, and McIntosh's horse, his credentials speak for themselves. So I don't think there's a horse in there that cannot win.
For each of these horses, what do you think is their biggest asset, and how do you think that strength will factor into Saturday night, given how you think the race will shape up with how competitive of a field this is?
Both horses can race either way. Leave, sit, take back, come late, follow cover. They can do anything. Scott loves It's My Show, that the fact that he can go a 26-second quarter and then go a 30-second quarter without fighting. And Fulton's basically the same. You can take them off the gate, you can leave with them. And I'm sure their strategies, they're just going to think about it and then throw it all out the window when the wings fold.
And what does it mean to you to be here, not just with one, but with two horses, given how much harder it was to make the North America Cup this year?
Oh, it's fantastic, because we broke both colts as babies. They're both homebreds, so they weren't in the sale. And, we've spent, their whole lives have been with us. And it's just the fact that they got to this level, and this is as big a level as there is. And this isn't just another $1 million race. This is Canada's race, and it means a lot to me because I'm from Toronto, and it means a lot to Linda because she's never won one yet.
What does the week look like for those two colts going into Saturday?
They both jogged yesterday and today, and they'll train tomorrow, and they'll be turned out in the field on Thursday, jog Friday, and then into the detention barn Friday night.
This year we didn't have a selection of posts. We had the post draw for the inside post. You drew posts 2 and 4. A couple of comments on how you feel about their chances given where you were able to draw.
Yeah, I don't think the draw bothers them, hurts them, helps them. It's just the fact that they drew good enough inside, and it's just a question of what everybody else is going to do. You know, that's up to the drivers. That's where the drivers make their money. When the wings fold and they change their plans right then.
What would it mean to you to be in the winner's circle over there on Saturday night holding that prestigious North America Cup trophy?
It would be fantastic. Yeah, I've watched every one of these. I watched this when it was the Queen City Pace at Greenwood back in the late 60s. And it's the race we all wanted to be in, we all watched. And when I worked for John Burns, we had a horse, and his name was Ship Scorch, and he had the rail, and he was a contender, and he didn't get a check in it, and we were all gutted because we thought he had a good shot. But it means a lot. It definitely means a lot.
Well, Brad, congratulations on the success that you've had to get not just 1 but 2 horses here. Thank you very much for taking the time, and all the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.